Oh, this will be a doozy. FaZe Rain had some words for me in a recent podcast with Bradley Martin. We've been breaking down a few of those clips for videos here on the channel, one in particular around the Grace Van Dien situation. FaZe Rain had this to say about me and my coverage of that story.
Is if you make your own news in every single department possible and you just have no bias, because everything has a bias. Like Jake Lucky, that pussy. Every time he posts me, there is a bias. And I message with him, I'm like, bro, I see right through. He's like, what are you talking about? I don't have an agenda. But every fucking tweet is painted to make me look bad. And the reason I don't like that guy, and the reason I did an interview with you, I did with Toes, did with anybody before him, and I told him, if you have questions, send it to the next time I'm doing an interview with. I'll never do one with you. Because that motherfucker just wants to. It's weird because he's big on Twitter, but his show is so small. His show is like not even 1% of what his Twitter is. It's crazy. And he just wants to use me to like help boost his show and shit. And also, he doesn't care. Like, I can see that you kind of care about what happens. Like, you're a caring human. I told you was a caring human. People care.
Yeah.
He just cares about how the story will help him. And he puts his own little bias in there. It's just corny. Like, I don't fuck with you, bro. It's just really lame. You know what I mean? He's not like a terrible human, but I just don't like his game. Even Keemstar. I used to not fuck with Keemstar for that. But then, like, after the years, I realized, like, yo, he actually is not like a bad human, but he just does what he does social media wise. But he's actually not a bad human. Yeah. I don't think he is. I think he's a good guy. I can see why people like wouldn't like. I expect people wouldn't like me sometimes because I'm unbelievably confident in myself these days. I believe I can do fucking anything humanly possible. If I genuinely want to do something, I can do it. Just because I'm not good at chemistry is because I haven't cared to be good at chemistry. But if I wanted to, I'll be the best at it. I'll be the best at fucking anything I want to be. Deadass. I genuinely believe that. And it makes so many insecure people mad.
So you know, let the name calling begin, I guess. In case you guys didn't hear the clip in full, saying that I was extremely biased about the stuff I posted about him. This referring to the Grace Van Dien situation, which we covered at length. You know, I got no hard feelings, no ill will towards the guy. A long time ago, I asked him to do an interview. He said yes. He then later backed out. My opinion on that is I just don't think he wants to be interviewed by someone who's actually going to ask questions on everything. If you guys remember, though, the thing I'm actually just peeved about, I don't care for the name calling, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. It just sucks because if you remember that story in particular, I covered both sides. I went about as middle down the road as possible. Some of the things that Grace said were fricked up, and I called those out, and I posted those on Twitter. And some of the things that FaZe Rain did, I called out and I posted those on Twitter. I hated the way that both those people responded. They both could have done a better job. That's ultimately where I stood on that. About as neutral as you can possibly freaking get. And then still at the end of the day, this guy comes out and says that I have a bias. When in reality, I have a bias to him because I didn't take his side in full in whatever world that he actually lives in. I did not take a side. I pointed out the flaws in both sides, and I just stood there in the middle. And for that, it makes me a pussy with bias, according to FaZe Rain. The same guy who won't even sit down to talk with me, yet I'm the pussy. And I'm just kind of sick of hearing these comments. I don't have any ill will towards the guy. He said a lot of things, and for some reason, if I don't agree 100% with some of the crazy things he has said, and if I play both sides, that makes me biased in his world. So, Rain, if you want to do an interview, I'm still down. You can call me out all you want, but the fact that you won't interview with me says to me that you don't want to be questioned on anything. Like, I have to fully agree with all of the statements you have made. If you can't at the very least agree with this, man, I've never covered anyone who has exposed or leaked so much information about an organization like FaZe Clan. So forgive me for taking some of what you say with a grain of salt or a bit of hesitancy. So I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. I can understand a bit where you're coming from, man. I understand how I come off online sometimes too. Like I hate some of the tweets I put out there as well, man. I don't know if it's actually fair that coming from you, but it is what it is. So if he wants to interview, I'm down. He backed out last time. I don't expect it to happen. But those are the words he had for me. Again, no ill will, no hate towards the guy, really. And I guess we'll see what he talks about next regarding FaZe Clan. So till next time, take care of yourselves. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Get some water and coffee. I'll see you back here in the next video.